Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Marie Diorio, and I'm the president of NanoCanada. NanoCanada is a well-established industry association, and we provide essential value to our members through networking events, webinars, national conferences, and really providing opportunities to promote, market, and access Canadian deep tech products or pre-commercial innovations, both nationally and globally. So to start, I would just like to share today's agenda. We'll talk about what's Nanomedicine Canada. We'll talk about, present our steering committee, our vision and mission, and we'll go through the questions on the survey that was distributed. And my colleague, Stéphane Gagné, who's the CEO of Avensa, will talk a little bit about the benefits of becoming a member. And we'll have a question and answer period. And finally, we'll end with some information on a Next Generation Manufacturing Canada workshop. So before we continue, just a few housekeeping items so that you know how to participate in today's event. At the bottom of your screen, you have a Q&A button. At any time during the webinar, please enter your questions. And when we get to the question and answer period, we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Now, si vous avez des questions en français, je vous encourage à les poser en français. Je serai très heureuse d'y répondre. So, again, questions in French and English, most welcome. So let me get into the topic itself. What is Nanomedicine Canada? So Nanomedicine Canada will be led by NanoCanada, and it's meant to be the first Canadian nanomedicine cluster that will connect a community of stakeholders in nanomedicine. We have received funding from NGen, which is the Advanced Manufacturing Supercluster in Ontario, to bring the nanomedicine community together, gather feedback, create a matchmaking portal to find opportunities for joint projects, collaborations, and of course, potential for funding. So our steering committee is composed of 7 members. You see them on the screen, and they represent different stakeholder communities, and Stéphane is the chair of the steering committee, and you'll hear from him very, very soon. So what is our mission? Our mission is really to build a nanomedicine ecosystem that can support, of course, the advancement of knowledge, but also the development of nanotechnology applications for the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of disease. And what we want, of course, is to support a robust Canadian supply chain and provide global market access through programs that can deliver economic impact. So our vision is really connecting the Canadian nanomedicine trailblazers to innovate and globalize health-related technologies of the future. All right, on the next slide, you'll see the analysis of the survey. So earlier this month, we sent a survey out to members in the hopes that we would get some quantitative data on what the nanomedicine community sees as hurdles or solutions, where the community sees itself in the future and going forward. And we want to be able to grow the cluster in a way, of course, that's meaningful to you and that's useful. And we're happy to receive input from manufacturers, researchers, suppliers, users, policy influencers. And so, and not too surprisingly, we found that there's a lot of common ground. People face the same sort of challenges. And when asked what was Canada's strength in their application space, it was made clear that everyone agrees that Canada has world-class research institutions and researchers with expertise in multiple disciplines. So the first question was, where do you identify yourself in a nanomedicine space? And as you can see in the graph, we've received input from a wide variety of players in a wide range of fields of nanomedicine, but over 30% of the respondents have connections to the fields of therapeutics, nanomaterials, devices, and pharmaceuticals. And of course, that's interesting for NanoCanada because we already represent a large community in advanced materials and nanotechnology, intimately linked to devices, of course. So that's great. And you know, what's the biggest challenge and obstacle that you face in terms of growth? And in the next slide, we see that over 73% of participants indicated that funding is the greatest challenges. That's always the case, of course. But, you know, it's interesting to see that the second one is collaborative opportunities and access to highly qualified personnel and pilot services, test services, understanding the regulatory environment, which is very important to put a product on the market, support for clinical trials, access to global markets, etc. Now, that of course is interesting because, as you'll see later on, that's one of the ways that that we were funded actually to promote collaboration through the creation of a portal, of a database. So that's going to address, of course, collaborative opportunities and the possibility of looking for funding opportunities is something that that we are also used to doing with various funding agencies. Access to highly qualified personnel as well, because we do have partners in MITACs, for example, that funds highly qualified personnel in industry, and so that's another way where we can have low-hanging fruits that are addressed from this question. So you know, the next question was, you know, what do you see as potential solutions to these challenges? And of course, increasing the opportunities to connect with Canadians, but not only Canadians, but connect with the international players. And you know, as an industry association, we've had a lot of experience in setting up turnkey international missions across the world, and so that's something that that we could look for as well in the future for the nanomedicine community. Access to pre-screened funding opportunities, as I've talked about, the MITACs, but there are, of course, other funders, and we interface with also regional development, provincial development, economic diversification type organizations that that really welcome the participation of industry and institutions in programs that support a robust ecosystem. The collaborative projects solution is, of course, something that that's what our first mandate is, to set up that database, which is really a matchmaking database that will allow you to find other players in your space and connect with them. And that's that I think will open up the opportunities for more collaborations. So that's some of the potential solutions. And then the next question was really, are there specific services or activities that, as a nanomedicine cluster, you'd like to see us offer to you? And of course, you know, what came out, collaboration, connection, networking, which is, you know, part of what we're doing today, just the beginning of it, but also funding opportunities and access to pilot projects. And by that, I gather is, you know, the importance, of course, of being able to make prototypes and to try ideas, and that will eventually lead to analyzing the potential for scale up. Webinars, trade missions, deep tech opportunities. And by deep tech opportunities, we mean those emerging technologies that are actually converging right now, which allow you to do better because you're working at the edges of various fields. For example, when you integrate artificial intelligence with health or and robotics, let's say, you're starting to combine technology, integrate technologies into your products, and it's a value added, it leads to value added products. And this is very interesting for Canada because those the deep tech industry, which includes biotechnologies, are actually the ones are doing very well in terms of growing into unicorn type companies, that is with valuations that are greater than $1 billion. And advisory services, whether that is, market analysis, for example, what's going on, where is the field going, what are the, if we're talking about materials, who are the suppliers of those materials, what quantities, etc. This market analysis, market reports, or even perspectives on development of certain fields. These are all things that, of course, a robust ecosystem can offer to its members. So, very much about business development services and information on industry growth, the capabilities, the company, who's doing what and where. And what are the challenges that need to be solved? The regulatory environment, of course, are very important, and how eventually, what's the framework for GMP scale up, for vaccine formulations, nano drug delivery systems, etc. So that's what we've heard from the survey, and it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Stéphane Gagné, who's the president and CEO of Ovensa, a Canadian preclinical stage company. Stéphane is also a founding member of the Nanomedicine Canada, and he will speak about the benefits of joining Nanomedicine Canada. Stéphane, the floor is yours.
Marie. Thank you. So if we look at first at the genesis of this Nanomedicine Canada cluster, we're looking at really the ecosystem. The way in the genesis of this project really and setting up this is really about the need for us to connect. And often Canadians, we meet outside of the country, right? And how often have we talked and personally met with other people from the Canadian ecosystem that I've never heard of, and then we meet at the Bio Convention, either the Bio International in the US or Bio Europe, and some other networking opportunities and trade missions organized by NanoCanada. So, and actually I met a lot of people from that ecosystem by the participation at those trade missions. And so we really need to get organized. We need to build this network in Canada first. I don't know how it is for you, but personally, I like to buy in Canada first, right? And so if the expertise is not available in the country, then I would go outside the country. But otherwise, I'm trying to see, okay, who are my fellow Canadian citizens and companies and researchers that I can work with before I go outside of the country. So this is the genesis, a little bit of, or the needs. And when we were in Brazil, for those who haven't heard the story yet, Rhonda and I were looking at some presentations in the auditorium, and we started to look at, there is really a need here to get together in providing services for other companies, pharmaceutical companies worldwide, or for some other clusters in the nanomedicine space. Because companies are looking not for, let's say, Ovensa's biopolymer, to make nanoparticles, but they're also looking for the instrumentation to make those nanoparticles, like for precision nano systems, as for examples. And then we looked at, okay, there is some analytical equipment that I need, some other services that I need. We participated in some government-led missions, and then NanoCanada as well. So we thought, okay, let's organize ourselves together. Let's see how we can do even more collaborations in Canada, and then we get organized for the being in a better position to provide services and products outside of the country. We also want to make this, we say, a first step in collaboration to buy, build, and partner with Canadian innovators. So making it easier for investors, researchers, other consortiums, government to connect to Canadian innovations. Again, providing that Canadian expertise so that international organizations can quickly identify the needs and services that we can provide here in Canada before going anywhere else. We want also to make this centralized database that we talked about. But beyond the database, that should make it easier for someone looking for a specific expertise or a set of expertise. We also intend to actively promote it through NanoCanada network and also the networks of other organizations that are partnering with NanoCanada as well. So we have Prima Quebec, we have also a NIM in Vancouver, we've got the Nano Ontario. So we have already different organizations in different provinces, and we want to bring all of that together and leverage those different networks. A member will benefit from the exposure given to the cluster and all of the NanoCanada events and missions abroad. Even if the member can't join the mission or the activity, and a good example of that is that a couple of weeks ago we had a virtual trade mission in South Korea. So again, with NanoCanada always being able to provide, even if we're not on site, a visibility for those companies that are becoming part of this cluster and Nanomedicine Canada. So if we go to the next slide, yeah. So for the benefits, so one thing that also we wanted to do is really to provide additional visibility to heavily promote this networking global expertise. So those are really tangible benefits that you will take advantage of. But also beyond this, beyond the database, beyond this visibility in trade shows and on the website, we want to be proactive in promoting the cluster and its members, but especially to create opportunities for collaborations, investment, funding, government grants, maybe even collaboration with other clusters in Brazil, Japan, Korea, Germany, wherever we have connections there. And the Nile consortium in Brazil, that's two companies, Ache and Fering, that decided to assemble their strengths together. And they said, okay, we're going to give ourselves 3 to 5 years to put together our resources for nanomedicine and to develop precision medicine and to develop drug delivery system so we can bring the drugs more specifically towards certain cells. Well, we would provide, obviously, a solution to those pharmaceutical companies abroad. Another example, I think, is Effervescence that is organized every year in the province of Quebec, where nanomedicine has been last year with where the theme was with the big nano, the nanomedicine, promoting nanomedicine as one of the main subjects for investment at the conference. So this is where, again, we can bring the Nanomedicine Canada and being heavily promoted there. Obviously, you will benefit from significant discounts for members on missions that are organized by NanoCanada, but also some other potentially government missions, virtual missions that might be free. I mentioned South Korea, but there are other opportunities now that we're looking at. And the more members we are, the more bargaining power we'll have also to get additional discounts. And obviously, you'll get your logo and link to the promoted on the website, but those will also, again, be featured with your profile in different activities. So one of the also major benefit is that you have no reason not to join because it's free. right? Marie explained that because of the InGen funding, we're able to get access and create that Nanomedicine Canada cluster. So Patricia is posting the links to the chat so that you can click them to register now. So you have basically two steps. One, need to register for the InGen for free because they're providing funding for this, and then you need to register for NanoCanada for the membership, again for free for 1 year. So take advantage of that. Do it now. It doesn't cost you anything. So the membership is free for the first year, at least until March 31st, 2023. And I'd like again to thank NanoCanada for putting this all together. So Marie, Patricia, Janice, and Isabel working very hard, and also their other collaborators, because it doesn't limit to that team. I'd like to thank also the members of this steering committee to spend time and volunteer to make this happen. Thank you.
Merci, Stéphane. Thank you very much. So as you saw from Stéphane, what we really want to do here is to connect the various players in the nanomedicine space, and there are different ways to do that. So the first step, of course, is to sign up, and you have the links below, and then sign up for InGen and sign up for Nanomedicine Canada. It's free till March 31st, 2023. And so I'd be very happy to invite your questions, and let's see if we could find if there are any questions. You have the links right now. I don't see any questions. So I will just say that for the moment, of course, we don't give out funding ourselves, because that's not what the project with InGen is about. But we can certainly facilitate access to funding, because we do think of projects, as I said, with various agencies and organizations, and we build partnerships. So with MITAX, for example, but also in different parts of the country with economic diversification agencies. And so there is that ability to build some collaborative platforms. And this NGen funding, you might have asked, why is it advanced manufacturing? And it's advanced manufacturing because, of course, all this came during, of course, the pandemic, and we saw how there was Canada's excellence in nanomedicine, the nanolipid technology. And we didn't have the manufacturing capability to have the vaccines here in Canada, and so that got us interested in advanced manufacturing for nanomedicine. What's lacking? What are the gaps that we could fill, etc. And of course, the first step is build the ecosystem and get people together. And of course, the government has gone ahead and funded some manufacturing facilities across Canada. So that's great news. And now we just have to make that robust, make the ecosystem robust. But there are, of course, you know that better than I do, the opportunities to combine robotics, AI, and manufacturing, so that you have cleaner technologies, fewer materials are used, and so on. And that transformation is happening in Canada as well. So it's great to see the leadership from Canadian companies, and we want to promote to promote that and highlight it as much as possible. So we're there to support the community. I don't see any questions, but please remember that our first objective or our first deliverable for our NGen funding is the matchmaking portal, the matchmaking and the database that, as members, you'll be able to go and find, I'm looking for a partner with this type of competency or works in this space. You'll be able to find that. So that's really a collaborative platform that is under development at the moment, and you'll have full access to that. So so that's how we're sort of launching all of that, and I certainly hope that that's been helpful to you today. And just as another piece of information for you, NGen is offering a workshop for all Nanomedicine Canada members on October 14th from 1 to 4 Eastern time, Eastern Daylight Time in this case. Competitive Edge workshop, and it's really to support the cluster members that are launching or need to refocus their activities, their business, by helping to uniquely position them to create sustainable competitive advantages and establish measurable goals. So that should be quite interesting, but it is limited to 12 participants. So if you are interested in that, then please join as quickly as possible, and then you'll have access to this workshop from NGen. So we hope that to bring value to your community, and we look forward to for you to sign up. Just visit our website, nanocanada.com, nanomedicine/nanomedicine, or you can connect with Isabelle Cyr at nanocanada.com. Si vous voulez me parler en français, je suis très heureuse de prendre vos questions également, et je suis sur le site, donc vous pouvez toujours me contacter également. So we do have a question that says that membership application website seems to focus on companies or large organizations rather than on individual researchers or research groups. No, that's not the only focus that we have. Of course, we want to make sure that the research community is very much part of the ecosystem. And so if you're a researcher or a research group, yes, you can and are invited to join the Nanomedicine Canada. And that's, of course, a very important part of the ecosystem. So, all right. So I think we've done all that we needed to do today. Thank you so much for participating, and we look forward to serving you. So thanks. Merci beaucoup pour être des nôtres aujourd'hui.